What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. You know, training is this crazy thing where it's capitalism. There's money involved. So everybody thinks they have this miraculous program to get you more gains. Everybody's pitching, oh, it's low volume, high volume. You got these weirdo science-based kids. They're like 20-something years old, if that. And look, I'm not going to body shame. I ain't got the best body in the world, but they got no muscle. They're flabby. They might look good in perfect angles and lighting, and of course they're natty. They're sure to tell us that, like we would even think that they're taking any kind of performance-enhancing drug. Again, not an insult, just a description, so you get that view of what I'm talking about. They're doing this weird stuff where they're holding a handle with nothing attached to it, strapping a cuff to their arm, and doing like a 3RM on these weird pull downs. I don't know what the hell's going on in the world. Look, man, at least back in the day, pumping iron, Dorian Yates, blood and guts, man, you had people working hard, training with intensity, getting more reps than last time, more weight than last time, going harder every single workout. Now you got things like reps in reserve and RPE, perceived exertion. It's like, what the hell have we done to training? What the hell have we done to what makes this all fun? Look, here's the deal. You know, you go to the gym, you beat the hell out of yourself just enough so you're able to come back in 2 or 3 days, or even like every other day, let's say that, and do it all over again. Let's say you're a bit achy and sore for the next day, maybe day and a half, then you go back, you're able to hit it again. I mean, Lee Haney, even him said stimulate, don't annihilate. He wasn't like, well, leave 1 to 3 RIR. How do you know? How do you fucking know what reps in reserve you have? You don't know how many reps you have in reserve until you go there. Until you go there. It's pretty simple. You know, I was training with my good friend Doug Miller last week. I visited his Crush It headquarters in North Carolina, and we had a great workout. And we were training like we did back in the Gains Tour, back in 2014, 2016, those ranges, right? Like, same exact way. And we're both just as big as we were during the Gains Tour. We're not even competing anymore. Like Doug and I, we're old men. We're in our mid-40s. We're middle-aged. We're in there. We had a couple young bucks with us too. And we're adding weight. We're putting the pin in there. We're adding weight to the stacks. We're doing shoulder press to failure. We're doing everything to failure. But we're not injured. I remember back then, we used to post videos training together. Everybody was like, whoa, you're going to be injured. We feel great. Like, other than this little hip strain I'm finally getting over, by the way, those take forever to heal. Dude, we're feeling great. I didn't do this while lifting. I did this while demonstrating a 4-point sprint for a 40-yard dash for our football players. So I'm in there training harder than ever, lifting more weight than ever. I'm consistently heavier than ever too. I'm in the 215 range all the time at a good body fat, right? And I'm just crushing it. I'm crushing it. I'm not injured because we don't train stupid. We train hard, but we don't train stupid, right? We're not doing it to the point we're going to tear something. It's controlled aggression. It's lifting as heavy as we can with as good a form as we can for as many reps as we can. You know, I always say lift high weights or high reps. Why not do both? Like, it doesn't matter on the split. You know, Doug and I got to talking about that too. What's your favorite split? And I'm like, well, you know, my split, mine's a bit schizophrenic. Mine's all over the place. One week, let's say I'm traveling and I don't have much time, I'll do full body. The next week, I'll be like, yeah, let's switch. Then I'll get like, I'll do one body. I'm like, I'll just do upper today. Then I switch to upper lower. Then somehow I find myself in a body part split. Then one day I'll be in the body part split. I do chest. So I'm like, I still got shoulders in me. I'll do shoulders. Now, for beginner trainers, I don't think that's the right move. I think you need a program so you could basically calculate your progressive overload and make gains every workout. But for someone like me, it's about going hard, going heavy, getting as much weight and as many reps as possible, of course, up to a point, right? Look at the set range, 12, 20 sets, somewhere in there per body part per week. I don't know. It just depends on how I feel. But I think we're overcomplicating a lot of things, and it appears that people overcomplicate it, they look the worst. They look the worst. And then they always cope. I'm natty. I'm natty. I'm natty. And then the drug guys who are science-based, they blame genetics or this or that or a bulk gone wrong. It's like, all right, whatever. Genetics play a role. I know that. I've lost a lot of shows due to having poor genetics or not elite genetics. But then again, I won the show I got my pro card at. My genetics helped me win it because of my shape. Who cares? At the end of the day, I think we need to make it fun. Now, if you have fun counting RIR and RPE and LMNOP and LGBTQ, whatever it is you guys friggin' do, that's fun to you, by all means, do it. For me, fun in the gym is lifting really fucking hard, is lifting really fucking heavy, is challenging myself. Now, if I have an ache or a pain, you know, I'm almost 45 years old. Once in a while, you know, my lower back get a little stiff, you know, so I'm like, all right, well, this week I'm not go as heavy on RDLs. I'm do more leg curls for my posterior chain. And yeah, there we go. And then a week later, I'm fine. I've done some stretching, done some things for it, maybe got some work done on it. I'm good to go. But it appears that we've lost what made bodybuilders great. And if you look at the elite bodybuilders, they're still training really fucking hard. They're still training at a point where most people give up. Go do a leg day with a top 5 Olympia guy. Go. Go train with Derek Lunsford. Go. Tell me how it is. Tell me if you're able to do that RPE bullshit. Tell me if you're able to do that RIR bullshit. Now, it does play a role, like, but here's the thing, like, I'm not that smart. Like, sometimes, like, let's take bench press, for example. I want to do 335 for 5 reps. And I got it. But I'll tell you what, that third rep was hard. And I knew I didn't know, if I would have been like, I got 1 RIR, there's no way I'm going to get 4 of these. No way I'm going to get 5. Got the 4th one, and I'm like, had my 12-year-old son spotting me. He's a great spotter. I'm like, I'm going to go. Boom. Got the rep. So if my mind and its limitations you place on yourself is like, well, I got 1 RIR, there it is, then you'll get 1 RIR. But if you think that, hey, I think I get 10, but yet it's something you're going to get 4 of, maybe you'll get 6, maybe you'll get 7. I think people overestimate how strong the mind can be in limiting oneself. So if you think you're only getting 3 reps, then by golly, you're only going to get 3 reps because you've placed that mental limitation on yourself. If you think you're going to get 10 reps, but physically you can't get 10 reps, but you're going to get more than if you thought you were going to do 3. That's just my experience with it. And training thousands of athletes, not just bodybuilders, not just, you know, weekend warriors who want to do a show because it was on their checklist of things to do before they die. No, I'm talking actual athletes. So it's funny when you see progression in the gym, we'll go and hit a 1 rep max. Or let's say a 3 rep max, whatever. We'll put their 1 RM on there, they'll get 3 with them. You know, with my son, my 12-year-old, yeah, we kept going up in weight. So every week we were like, all right, well, you know, we're getting back into this. We're into the active football season, so we're going to maintain strength. So we started at 375. It went up. I'm like, cut it today. We're good. The next week we got 385. Went up smooth. Cut it. We're good. The next week, 395. Cut it. We're good. Then the next week we put 405 on a box squat for 12-year-old Preston. Boom, boom. Gets it up. Now, there was a little pause. It wasn't a pause, but I could tell in the middle it was a little bit slower. So I'm like, all right, we're good. We're going to back off now and climb back up. We're going to add some reps. We'll start with 5, go to 3, go to 1. It's all in the programming. But if you would have asked Preston a month ago, if in a month he'd be squatting at 12 years old, 405 pounds, he'd tell you you're insane. He'd be like, you're nuts. I'm 12 years old. I still have pubic hair, for fuck's sakes. But no, here we are, getting them gains. So what? But you know what he's doing also? He's having fun. right? Like we know we have to lift weights to be optimal at football and wrestling, his two sports, but we're having fun doing it. We're cranking the music. He'll go and he'll train with a local football team because we coach them. And he'll have these guys who are going to play D1 next year, really, really stellar football team. And I've posted this online. They're cheering him on. It's fun. We make it fun. I love going to the gym. I go to the gym more than I should. Now, I'm trying to scale it back to 5 days a week, but I find myself going 6, 7 days a week just because it helps me. I notice in the morning when I go and I knock out my workout at 5 a.m., my whole day is better because I started the day with something that's hard and something that's fun. But these fucking nerds, they read one study and they cherry pick it. They cherry pick this study. Every study that all these guys mention is like there's a counter study or there's a study that showed something different. But no, there's a new study comes out. Everybody's like, oh, seated leg curls activate more than laying leg curls. I'm never doing those again. I'm not saying do lying leg curls over seated leg curls. I'm saying why not both? Just because it's not optimal doesn't mean it doesn't do something, right? Like you mix it up. You have fun with it. Frankly, I don't even like seated leg curls. I like lying. I just like them better. So if I'm going to like something and perform it better, why wouldn't I do that? That's the bane of my existence right now, is these science-based lifters who are fucking know-it-all assholes. And I mean that with all due respect. You're a bunch of know-it-all assholes, and you're overlooking years and years, decades and decades of empirical evidence to the contrary, that other training methodologies work just as good or better, that have produced the best athletes in the world. And you're saying, if you look at football training, it's kind of gone back. If you look at the shit they did in the 70s, the plyometrics, all that stuff, you look at what the Olympic athletes did for sprinting. We're back to doing that. Simple stuff. We're back to doing plyos. We're back doing the basic lifts. We're back doing box squats. We're back doing deadlifts. It's really weird how that works. So all this new age science-based mumbo jumbo, it looks cool, it gets views, but does it get results? Everybody I know who follows that, they're just not getting those gains. But then again, you get an asshole like me, okay? At 13 years old, I realized I needed to weight train to get to my goals in football. I had no clue what I'm doing. I trained for 6 hours a day total, not gonna lie. 1:30 to 2:30, the football team had their session. I'd get a bite to eat. I trained from like 3 to 5 on my own, right? 3 to 5. And then I do conditioning. And on weekends, I do even more than that. And I would do sets. And sets, I do multiple squats. I had no idea what I'm doing. It was all wrong. I wouldn't do that now. Bro, I gained 70 pounds in 2 months, drug-free. I didn't know what a steroid really was till I was in my 20s. Like, I had no idea. But I trained to failure. I went heavier every time. I had my training partner, Leon, just yelling at me. Shut up, get more weight, Loeb, get more weight. And that's where I made my gains. That's where most of my gains were made in those pubescent years. Not because I knew what I was doing, because I trained with intensity. It all comes down to intensity. You show me, take 2 kids, twins, put one of them on this science-based RIR bullshit. Have another kid on a powerlifting-based program where he just trains his ass off and just goes hard as fuck. Who do you think's gonna get better results? The guy doing fucking 3 RIR lap pull downs or the guy fucking deadlifting 600 pounds at 16 years old? What do you think? What do you think? Who's gonna gain more muscle? Simple. Are you gonna gain more muscle from doing a fucking perfect form 2 RIR rep fucking pull down? Or are you gonna get more gains doing a fucking heavy deadlift? You tell me that. You tell me that. If you're not choosing the deadlift guy, you're out of your mind. And you haven't been around enough people who lift. You need to fucking go look with your own eyes. Look, I'm all about studies. I do studies for a living. I work for a science-based company. Okay? It is what it is. We do that. But at the end of the day, what works in the real world in training? Man, it's a little of each. A little of each. As for splits, all that, look, I kind of addressed that at the beginning. I'm all over the place. As long as you're getting similar volume per muscle, as long as you're enjoying it, As long as you're going up to or beyond failure, you're going to get results. Period. So whether it's upper, lower, push-pull legs, full body, half body, bro split, don't care. Most of my games were made doing the bro split. Yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. What do you think about these science-based lifters? I think they serve a purpose. I think we need to learn these things. But I also think their pompous, condescending fucking attitude needs to go. Let me know your thoughts. By the way, tigerfitness.com. Tigerfitness.com, fully stocked. We got a lot of stock. We got Drop Factor in, Peak Physicors in. We got a bunch of whey flavors in, outright bars. We got Clean Form Nutrition Nula bars and Pure Blood. If you're not taking Pure Blood for your heart health, you're out of your mind. Pure Blood is the greatest heart health supplement ever created. Go to that. It's amazing. Anyway, guys, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell, and remember, that's not a game.